Mitch, 89 years ago this week, The Bride of Frankenstein was released.
Oh.
And she is the one Universal monster I didn't make a Halloween card out of last October.
I know.
And so I'm going to do that today.
Good.
You know, back when we started this channel, we used to go out and buy a monster action figure, something cool.
Yeah.
And then I would tear into the package and I'd play with the figure. And eventually I'd get around to drawing it or inking it or painting it or whatever.
Yeah, we had fun with that.
Yeah.
And we just have a nice casual chat about the monster or the movie it came from.
Yeah, or the design of the figure or whatever. And we just don't do that as often anymore.
No.
And I kind of miss it.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do.
This figure, by the way,
Yeah.
I love it. I love the hospital gown thingy.
Yes.
I love how they simulated the wrapped bandages.
Yeah. But
But there are a few things I'd change. First, the hair.
real hair would have been amazing.
Real hair would have doubled the price, but yeah.
Or tripled.
I'm not loving the plastic beehive.
Yeah, fair enough. What else? Anything else?
The skin color.
The skin color, right?
I would pay good money to have a regular dusky peach,
Exactly.
corpse-colored bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, in this Mego style with the cloth clothing.
Exactly.
You know, about the green skin on the bride and on a lot of pop culture images of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I think I read a long time ago that the type of film that they used back in the 30s was very sensitive to color. It was black and white film,
Okay.
but it picked up colors differently. Certain colors of the spectrum would come out brighter and whiter on film, while others would seem like a darker gray in the finished product.
Okay.
In a lot of old movies from the 20s and 30s, you'll see the lead actors have like 3 pounds of makeup packed onto their face, and it'll make their faces brighter than the background players, you know, by design.
Right.
And if I can recall correctly, redder makeup reads as darker, while greener makeup reads lighter using that old film. So they wanted Frankenstein's monster to have a deathly pallor, like a corpse.
Okay,
So they packed on a lot of this grayish green makeup so the cameras would pick it up correctly and he would look pale in the finished product.
Wow.
But, I mean, you know, a few of the full-color promotional images that they put out might have led people to believe that he was supposed to look green.
Yes.
And I think the green just intensified over the years like a visual game of telephone. And it got to the point where pale grayish green became spring green and then neon green. And I think that's why we have a Bride of Frankenstein figure here that looks like she fell asleep in a bowl of guacamole.
Yes.
Frankenstein monster, like girl with skin like a bell pepper.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
That's an avocado cleansing mask. Good for the pores.
Okay, the hair. Let me just say that I'm using a Princeton Velvet Touch brush here. I think a number 2.
All right.
Which is relatively fine. And I'll use a larger one for the wash in a bit.
Okay.
Next to my scratch paper is a bottle cap that I keep my inks in so that I can see the bottom of the container and not smash my brush bristles every time I dip it in for ink.
Good idea.
And while I inked the face with Black Star ink, I'm inking the hair with this Sepia ink. And you know exactly why.
Yeah, because Elsa Lanchester is famously redheaded.
Exactly.
And I know those rare colored photos of the Bride of Frankenstein seem to show that she was wearing a black or gray wig.
Yeah, it does look black or gray.
Maybe charcoal. But the lighting in the movie catches her hair in a way that you can easily imagine that she's got a flaming red Frankendew exploding off the top of her head.
Yeah, it looks light. Also, I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah.
But Universal's art director designed this ad in 1935, and clearly
she has red hair.
Red hair.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
And different.
Yeah.
Monsters always have black hair.
All the time.
Frankenstein, Dracula, Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
The closest we got in the old Universals is the Wolfman, and he's just got brown hair.
It's
maybe.
brown, right?
I don't know, but maybe he's not a ginger, though.
No. So I'm putting the ink wash on the face, and of course, this is the scene in the movie where the bride sees the monster and just, screams her head off.
Yeah.
It's not a good first impression.
No.
And I'm kind of doing a stark light and shadow treatment. It's similar to, but not as intense as it's shot in the film. I mean, it's not as black and white.
Right.
It's not as chiaroscuro as the scene, but, I like a softer touch anyway.
Right,
so,
yeah. So where does the doctor get the body for the bride?
I think, well, remember that Dr. Frankenstein is building this bride with his mentor, Dr. Pretorius.
Oh, yes.
And he started with some body parts that he gathered himself, here and there.
Just lying around?
Yeah, wherever you find that stuff. And Pretorius also supplies him with other body parts.
Body parts must have been easy to find back then.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming. They hadn't yet invented fences around graveyards, I guess.
I see.
Also, Pretorius has grown the brain in his lab. And that's the brain that they use.
Oh, right. He's all about growing little miniature people.
Yeah, in little jars. Yeah. And even though he can grow brains, which is impressive, possibly the most complex part of the puzzle, he decided to send Carl, the assistant, out to get the heart from a recently deceased woman, as I recall. But, of course, as usual, the assistant is always screwing things up, and he has to kill a woman to harvest a fresh heart.
Oh, my. It's tape time.
Yeah, the wash on the face was starting to buckle the paper a little.
Okay.
I think this was cold pressed paper. So I wanted to tack it all down so that I could do the sepia wash in her hair without the paper getting really wavy. Hand in hand at the barbecue stand, walking my baby. Bernice, what the heck? You said we were exclusive.
I thought we could date around.
Date around? Who, this dude? No, who is this guy? I don't even know this guy. That's what a dude.
We never said exclusive.
Please.
Gary, just go.
Oh, so there's the bride. I know she's technically the bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was a rocky relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
the honeymoon did not last very long.
Not at all.
There was the initial meeting, did not go well.
Nope.
And then within minutes, the entire castle was collapsing on top of them.
Yeah. And I know that she never showed up in any future films in that series.
Right.
But I like to think that maybe she escaped the destruction of the castle and maybe snuck off to France to become an independent high society lady, is my guess.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'd like.
That's the after credits scene.
Exactly.
In my head, that's canon.
Yeah, let's go with that.